This video shows the additional information based on the user interaction in the main troubleshooting query performance interface. It shows the message asking if we want to start the monitoring, and of course I choose not in order to not put pressure on the system, and in order to avoid any of the messages that requires fine-tuning, which will be part of another post. We added a progress bar showing that the performances are loading and also other progress bars next to the labels of the charts we added. The grid, which contains all the instances for which we have issues, contains columns which are tied to events as follow. The instance name is tied to displaying the plan handles for each instance, which use the most CPU time. The data comes from query exec_stats DMV and is pulled every 2 seconds. Clicking on the any other column in the grid will display the time at which that instance experienced that specific event, like a critical CPU event or a disk warning event. At the top of the window, we added a date picker and a combo box allowing us to retrieve data for a specific number of days, and every time we use those, the interval we specified there will be used in the queries we use to retrieve the data for the grid columns. Clicking grid columns display the associated window. While clicking the text, let us jump from one window to the other window. The next post should cover the query we will use to retrieve the text for the plan handle and SQL handle and the execution plan, and store them in the database. I will try to decrease the kind of monitoring I have in place since I will add a new query which will run every 2 seconds. Maybe next post will display also the size of the tables behind this performance monitoring and how much space is used by monitoring these queries executions. Once I have the queries and the execution plan for the top SQL statements, then when user will click that plan handle, which is application is displayed as a big int, then we will load more information about that execution and give user access to other data we already gather. I don't know yet how it will look the top SQL statements window, but for sure this and the other window will provide user more options in seeing the system state at that time. As we speak, the only data that we charted and presented represents 10 to 15 columns from the 150 total of columns and data we pull from those SQL instances.